Good afternoon, folks, and thank you for tuning in to In Cat's Kitchen on this Sunday. So, I wanted to come and start prepping and everything. Excuse Diva in the background. She's going to continue to try to be a nuisance in the kitchen today. So, with that being said, you see I still got some boxes in the background. I've been slowly unpacking, trying to get everything situated here in the new apartment. With that, today's dinner that I am bringing to you all is going to be meatloaf, a cheeseburger meatloaf, and garlic mashed potatoes with roasted vegetables. Now, I have to be honest, this is going to be a plant-based dinner. Everything will be plant-based except cheese. I am using cow cheese. So, it's not 100% vegan, but it is 99.999% vegan with 0.1%, which is animal product. So, with that, what I'm doing now, I'm basically just getting my potatoes prepped. And what I've done is I've taken 3 cloves of garlic and smashed them. I put on a pot of water, salted at that because we want everything seasoned, right? So I salted my water. I put my 3 cloves of garlic in there and I smashed them before doing so. And what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna, trim up my potatoes and everything and go from there. Lord, excuse me. I was getting some dirt from the potato. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let these boil, okay? And then what I'm going to do is get my other vegetables prepped so I can go ahead and put those in the oven and let them roast up. So, what we're going to do, I'm going to switch around here. So what I'm going to do is I have my potatoes. Matter of fact, let me get my cutting board out here. And I keep, every time I do dishes, I have my dishes set. I wash them, but I have the machine set to where it sanitizes because we cut meat on these, and technically in the food world, when it comes to cooking, you should have a meat board, a poultry board, a veggie board. But guess what? We in my kitchen. We ain't in the restaurant, okay? So I'm just gonna finish chopping these up real quick and we'll move on to the next step. We'll be right back. Alright, so I have the potatoes on and everything. And you probably noticed, I have some veg on the counter and everything. This is the seasoning for the meatloaf, okay? So, I was inside the grocery store the other day. And, you know what? I'm going to stop saying names and everything. Because these people ain't paying me to promote their store or their product or whatever. So, I found these in the grocery store. And, and it has Brussels sprouts, butternut squash, and onions. I love Brussels sprouts. I do like squash, etc., etc. So, right now, I have the oven on broil because of the simple fact is that's the quickest way to heat it up. So, what I'm going to do here, basically, I'm going to, you're going to utilize these just like if you cut the vegetables up yourself, You're going to season them the way you want it. You're going to add a little oil. And, I have some balsamic vinegar, but I'm not going to use that today. I'm going to oil these up a little bit. Now, I was just at the store this morning, and I don't know why I didn't think to get me some regular olive oil. Because this type of olive oil, you can cook with, but it's not recommended, okay? this is a dipping oil. Say like you have some good bread and you get a little salt on there and you dip this. You dip the oil almost like an appetizer. Now I found this at a discount store, and you probably already seen my sticker and everything. But I'm a firm believer in, you know, shop for your budget, okay? That's what you do. Shop for your budget and everything. So I'm just gonna use a little Creole seasoning on my vegetables because it's one of my favorite seasonings, point blank. I do like my food spicy. So I'm gonna do some slap your mama. Okay. So, and I'm also going to just go ahead and toss these up a little bit. Let that oil get over everything. And you're just gonna, you know, I hate those big old chunks of onion like that. I'm not a huge onion fan like that. I do like it for flavoring. The only time I really eat onion like that is if it's sauteed or caramelized and everything. So I'm gonna put these on in the oven, and I'm gonna put the temperature probably about 425. And let those roast slowly because they're gonna be really good. So, and I usually put that type of stuff on the middle rack. Now, again, I have started my stove out on 500, which is broil. And the reason I did that is because I wanted it to preheat fairly quickly. So now we're going to move on to the meatloaf. So give me just a moment. I'll be right back. All right. So as I told you before, we're going to be doing a plant base, right? So with that, the plant base, that means basically the vegetables, the seasoning, everything is plant-based. Now, when I had to go to Kroger, Lord, there I go. I done did it again. It's very hard to not mention the store, but I'm believing in God for promotion and money to be coming along for me to be talking about these places. So I went to the store because I only had 1 pound of this plant-based meat, right? And when I went there, they didn't have the 1 pound. They just had the little patties, which are 8 ounces each. Well, guess what? That ain't what I needed. So I was a little perturbed, so to say. And the butcher was like, I don't know why you mess with that mess anyway. It's just slime and it's this and that and the other. And I said, well, I understand you love meat. Well, meat does not agree with me as I get older, especially red meat. You know, they're putting so many chemicals and crap into the animals. Not to say that, you know, this isn't chemically processed. But, I mean, you know, if I look at this, it says water, pea concentrate, refined coconut oil, pea protein, expeller pressed canola oil, blah, 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 blah. You know, sometimes we just have to pick our battles at the end of the day on what we put in our bodies, right? And, you know, those of us that aren't pro-vegans, professional vegans who live that lifestyle on a daily, guess what? We do what we can. So, last time I used this, it was with the lasagna. I enjoyed it, quite frankly. It was good. I can't even lie about it. It was good. So I'm willing to try other things, but I don't have time to do all this. Oh shoot, Lord, y'all done forgot I had the the skillet on. Lord, because I was gonna saute these. See, that's what I get for talking to it. I was gonna saute these, but they're in the bowl now, so we're gonna bypass that. So typically, when I make, you know, my meatloaf or anything like that, I always saute the veggies, and I just guess I got in my feelings, honey, and and forgot what I was doing. So forgive me for that. So when you're making your meatloaf, and mind you, let me tell you, you don't have to make your meatloaf with plant-based product like I am, okay? You don't. I'm doing this because this is what I want to do. Now, so with that, we're going to mix this up really good, okay? Give me just a second here. Okay, so I lied to y'all again. I forgot that you do need a binder for meatloaf. So I am using 2 animal products. And so that means cheese and an egg, 1 whole egg. That's all I'm gonna use. Get out the kitchen. Go sit down. I don't care about you licking your chops. Go somewhere. So now I do have some breadcrumb, and I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be about maybe let's see. Sorry, I have phones all over the place. I'm probably going to use about two of these, which is 1/3 of a cup. And I'm just going to start with just the one. Now, if you don't have a 1/3 cup, oh shoot, hold on. So with that, I'm gonna turn that down because I have to be in a meeting. So with that, 1/3 of a cup, if you don't have one of these, 1/3 of a cup is about 5 tablespoons and 16 teaspoons, okay? So we're gonna mix that up really good. Okay, so we're gonna mix that really good. Okay, so I've mixed up everything. Now what you guys didn't see, because I was occupied doing something else, I added probably about a little under a cup of ketchup in this. Now that does add extra moisture, but I've always done that, and I've added some Worcestershire sauce into it as well. Now, as you can see, it looks like meatloaf. Now I could add some more breadcrumb in here just to hold it together, but I think it's going to be fine. So what we're going to do is, I have my loaf pans. I'm going to put a little bit of coconut oil in here and everything in the loaf pan, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add half of the meat, then I'm going to put cheese in the middle, and then put the other half, and maybe a little bit of cheese, you know, in between there. So give me one moment. Okay, so I've gone ahead and done a pan here, and as you can see, I do have some left over. But what I'm gonna do here now is I'm gonna add the ketchup on top. So, and what's gonna happen is that ketchup is gonna caramelize. I'm sorry to tell you, people are like, "Why are you just doing that?" Guess what? It's gonna caramelize. Trust me when I tell you, it's gonna caramelize. So with that, this is gonna go in the oven. I'm gonna do about 30 minutes because being that it's pretty much a cooked meat anyway, I don't think it's gonna take that long, but I am gonna let it brown and get all gooey and everything like that. We'll check it out. In the meantime, I'm gonna check on my potatoes to see if they're fork tender. If so, I'm gonna drain them and I'm gonna go ahead and mash them and add all the goodies to it. I'll be right back. So I've taken the vegetables out of the oven. They're not done. As you can see, they got a little bit of char on them and everything. So whenever you're roasting vegetables, you are constantly tossing them, so they could get that char on them and everything. And you don't want to handle it too much and everything when you're doing the vegetables. I have completed the mash, and now we're just waiting for the meatloaf to come out of the oven. Okay. Okay, so the meatloaf is out of the oven resting. I'm gonna let it rest for about 10 minutes. While it's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up. Okay, so here we have the finished product. This is the vegan meatloaf with the roasted vegetables and the mashed potatoes. I actually tasted this and it tastes pretty damn good. The only thing is with the vegan meat, because it's a pea-based meat, it's kind of sweet. So with that, I would probably make this more savory and maybe add like some the onion soup, you know what I'm talking about? The powdered onion soup from Lipton. I did actually buy some. So I would probably add one of those and just try to make it as savory as possible. Otherwise, this came out really good and it tastes really good. Until next time, people, you guys have a good evening and thank you for tuning in.